The early 2000s represented the peak of alcohol consumption in Ireland. Rates of drinking had risen sharply during the late 90s and peaked by 2002, at which time consumption for people aged 15 years and over was 14.2 litres of pure alcohol. To understand that level of consumption, that is equal to 580 pints per adult per year. We had become one of the highest drinking nations in the world. In 2002, in direct response to concerns about the numbers of children referred into social work services where parental alcohol use was an issue, a group of people came together in the Northwest to explore what could be done.
I've been with Alcohol Forum Ireland, now to be known as Well Ireland, since its inception, when all we had was a vision of what was needed. Our first report, A Portrait of Our Drinking, highlighted the impacts that alcohol had on families, children and communities. And it was that report that guided us on what direction we were to take.
Why the hell did we get ourselves into this position?
Well, when the health boards were in existence and we had responsibility for childcare because it was pre-TUSLA days, it was obvious that there was an awful lot of harm being done by alcohol, and it was manifesting in every direction. It was in A&E departments, it was in unplanned pregnancies, it was in the number of beds being used. But the one that jilted me most was when as CEO I was being asked to sign forms on occasions where the file was being brought to court to take children into care. And I'd say, well, why are we bringing this to court? Why are we taking a child or children away from their families? And it didn't feel right. And somebody would say, well, there's alcohol in the background and there's alcohol harm in the house and so on and so forth. And I'd say, well, geez, it's a big deal to take kids away from their families. Why would you do that? Why would we not just tackle the drink problem in the background?
In 2004, Alcohol Forum Ireland published A Portrait of Our Drinking. This landmark publication was one of the earliest attempts in Ireland to translate national alcohol policy into a regional public health model. This report was discussed by government and received national media attention. In 2009, the Irish government agreed to include alcohol in the National Substance Misuse Strategy. The first chair of the then Northwest Alcohol Forum, Dennis Bradley, sat on the steering group for Ireland's National Substance Misuse Strategy from 2009 to 2012, when the steering group report was published.
I was invited on to the committee that was setting out the new kind of alcohol and drug policy for the government, and I went to Dublin for maybe 20 times over 2 or 3 years. There was a fall of government in between, and it was kind of more extended.
Look at the profile we gave you.
Yeah, exactly right. Thank you, Pat. But one of the most frustrating things was the power of the industry. Right. And they were in there like a shot. And they fought the thing, and they dragged it out, and they dragged it out, and they dragged it out, right? And one of the most frustrating things in some ways to me was that that there was already a report done about 5 or 10 years before it. And I'm not too sure we added anything to it over those 20 meetings. But I hadn't any sense at all that anything really had changed.
One of the things that kind of satisfies me about the Alcohol Forum is we have a sense for what we can't do, but we have a keen sense for what we can do that makes a difference. So we have this notion that we might sort of innovate some ideas, we'll incubate the ideas, we'll replicate the ideas, so we work something up and we see that it works, and we know from evidence that it should work. Then we try and sell that message on to other settings and other parts of the country and so on.
In 2011, working with Dr. Anne Hope and Dr. Joe Barry from Trinity College, Alcohol Forum published the first ever report on hidden harm in Ireland. That report found that 1 in 7 child welfare concerns involved family members who were abusing alcohol or drugs. Alcohol abuse was mentioned in 1 of every 3 child abuse cases in the Northwest. In the years that followed, Alcohol Forum participated on the National Hidden Harm Working Group, which led to the Joint Strategic Statement on Hidden Harm, by the HSE and TUSLA in January 2019. As an organisation, the charity has had the courage to innovate and try new things in response to needs. The research, advocacy, training and education work on alcohol-related brain injury has been groundbreaking in Ireland, and the Alcohol-Related Brain Injury Support Service, funded by Donegal Mental Health Service, remains the only dedicated service of its kind in Ireland. In 2011, the Alcohol Forum published the first research report on alcohol-related brain injury in Ireland, examining the incidences and prevalence of ARBI in the Northwest. From those early days in the Northwest, the work of the organisation has continued to grow, to influence and to believe in the possibility of change. From our headquarters in Donegal and our offices in Sligo and Cavan, we now support individuals and families across 5 counties, while also leading national initiatives that support community action and influence policy and practice.
To meet those unique and important challenges, I have the honour of chairing the board of Alcohol Forum Ireland. Our organisation is unique in that it has 2 main strands to its work. Firstly, dealing with individuals from childhood through adolescence to adult life and families with alcohol-related problems. We also deal with people with other substance misuse and issues, which often overlap. As well as that, we are very proud of our advocacy work, both nationally and internationally, and the successful links that we have built with other organisations, statutory and voluntary, in this very important field.
I am incredibly grateful to our funders, partners and all of those who have supported us from the beginning to get us to where we are today. And I'm really excited to see where this next chapter will bring us.